Call Yahawashi Yahawashi, Bashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles that are teaching this word in sincerity and truth. I wanted to do a brief talk about separating from this kingdom as much as possible. And as we move through the latter days and through Jacob's trouble and the end of this last kingdom, Esau's kingdom, before the coming of the kingdom of heaven, the idea of separating as much as possible in order to move forward in a way that's productive for our growth and ultimately our spiritual development and returning to the Most High. This lesson is very meaningful to me because this is an area where I've struggled with tremendously. Just from a very young age, I've been wrapped up in just the culture of the last kingdom, Esau's kingdom, and sort of decades and upon decades of being involved in it, promoting it, integrating with it, spreading with it in all facets of my life and personality and moving forward. And so untangling from it is actually very, very difficult, but it's something that's very necessary. Taking a look at Romans chapter 12 and verse 2, or I'll start at verse 1 rather. I beseech ye therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies as a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. And so here what we see being stressed is separating ourselves, using our lives as a sacrifice to the Most High, and transforming ourselves through our study of the scriptures, and that is what will be acceptable to the Most High. And so in particular, our bodies are a living sacrifice. So rather using our time, and I'm also speaking to myself here, using our time to learn more about our history, our culture, and our heritage, and specifically through studying the scriptures, as it says in Revelation chapter 1 and verse 3, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So not only in addition to reading, but also listening to the prophets speak, checking out in particular the YouTube videos that go into prophecy and teaching, and then also doing and keeping the word to the best of our ability, the law, statutes, and commandments. An area that for me I found very, very challenging, right, is this concept of entertainment or relaxing. You finish with work for the week, or you're working on the weekend and you want to take a couple hours to unwind and relax. And sort of in Esau's kingdom, that's like a very common or typical aspect of most people's lives, right? It's just a very accepted way of going about it. And so one way of doing that is to watch television or listen to music or find essentially some form of entertainment. And what I've found personally is that in some ways is often the most difficult or destructive avenue. You can of course go into all the different reasons why television programming and any sort of culture that's coming at you from Esau Edom, slash the serpent is poisonous. But suffice to say that it takes your focus and your mind off of the Most High, and it is meant to in every way to degrade and deconstruct and destroy your connection to the Most High. There's a lot of really interesting ways that Esau Edom does that. It can be as simple as the frequencies in the music, to just the underlying messages in TV programming that are promoting any form of wickedness, culture, principle, so on and so forth, that are in direct contradiction to the Most High, or also continue to seek to degrade the image of the Israelites. This is 1 Peter chapter 2 and 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. And that darkness is, again, it's the culture, essentially. Among other things, it's the culture of Esau Edom's kingdom, right? Whose light is as darkness, or he puts he puts darkness for light and light for darkness. And this idea of holy, let's take a look at that word, but essentially it's holy means separate. So as a holy nation, that means we are to be separate from all of the other nations. And in the past, one of the most destructive things to our nation, particularly around, this is when we had first moved into the land of Canaan, was not clearing out all of the heathen nations that were there. And as a result, we integrated with those nations and took on their cultures and we took on their women as wives, and it was their customs which ultimately drew us into wickedness. Going into this word holy, Strong's G40, hagios, looks like. And let's see what it says here. Most holy thing, a saint. Here we go. Sacred, physically pure, morally blameless or religious, ceremonially consecrated. So in particular, right, this pure, morally blameless, this concept of being set apart. In fact, I want to take a look at him online to drive home this point further. Let's see what it says here. Holy. This is a great site for learning more about what words actually mean. Holy, uninjured, right? Intact, that cannot be transgressed or violated. Interesting. And let's take a look at holy in the Old Testament. To get a clearer picture. Here we go, Exodus 19 and 6, which mirrors what we had just read. Exodus 19 and 6, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.